Hey, everybody. This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good looking friends. Yesterday, I posted in my community page the statement that was made by Kensington Palace, a very well written and measured statement coming out from the Prince and Princess of Wales. I have to applaud this couple for doing the right thing in this balanced statement while asserting their soft power and leadership skills. And of course, as predicted, Meghan and Harry felt the need that they had to use their voice in order to assert their global power or lack of. Let's take a look at the statement that was put out less than 10 hours of the release of the Kensington Palace statement. And it says, at the Archwell Foundation with Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, we stand against all acts of terrorism and brutality. We are supporting our partners and organizations on the front lines in Israel to provide the urgent aid needed and to help all innocent victims of this unconscionable level of human suffering. Okay, so here is what is wrong with this statement. At a high level, I think they should have just said nothing. But at bare minimum, they should have left the fact that Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, out of the statement and just left it with Archwell. But of course, they made it about themselves once again. The other thing that's so shallow and hollow is the fact that they're saying we are supporting our partners and organizations on the front lines in Israel to provide the urgent aid needed and to help all innocent victims. Well, let's ask this question. What partnerships do they have all of a sudden that are helping people on the front lines? What are they doing? Cheerleading from behind saying, rah, rah, you can do it, you can do it? The only partnership that would be remotely aligned with helping out in this crisis would be World Central Kitchen. But we all know that there was something fugazi and funky going on with their financials as well. Whatever happened to helping build that facility in India that Archwell claimed that it was doing? Or how about the facility in the Dominican Republic? In the 2021 tax filing, none of that was mentioned. These two ambulance chasers need to sit down and keep their mouths shut. This is not the time to assert yourself and make this all about you, okay? It's not just us and the people that can't stand Meghan and Harry think that this was done in poor taste. Even in Sugarland, they are having disagreements and seeing this as a vile attempt to make it all about themselves. Take a look at what was posted in St. Meghan Markle, and I believe it looks like it came from Tumblr, but it says, supposedly, this was written by a Harry and Meghan fan, and it says, and this is why I didn't want them to speak. The lack of mention of the Palestinians who are being murdered in droves right now by Israeli bombs is beyond disappointing and frankly disgusting. Daily, Israeli leaders are proudly talking about how they will raise Gaza to the ground and with it over 1 million children, children who have known nothing but scarcity and violence. This issue is personal to me as someone with family and friends in the region and as someone who did one of my first major postings in Jerusalem and saw firsthand the violence of the IDF and Israeli state. I mourn for the lives lost at the hands of Hamas. I've been in fear for my friends in Israel. However, the utter lack of care for I've seen for Palestinians is a disgrace. My Palestinian loved ones want peace and to live without the fear of state violence from the Israeli government and the settlers they prop up. My heart absolutely breaks for the millions of Palestinians who do not have food, water, electricity, who are being bombed, seeking help in hospitals, who our leaders are actively encouraging the genocide of in the West. Harry and Meghan did not have the range for this moment and should not have commented if they are not willing to recognize all the victims of this atrocity. And here you can see the hashtag my God, even William and Kate made some mention of the Palestinians. The writer then continues, let me tell you this right. I am 10 toes down from Palestinian liberation. It is my fervent dream we see a free Palestine in my lifetime. That is more important for me than covering the asses of royals I stand, point blank, period. If Harry and Meghan had nothing of substance to say, if they didn't want to inflame anyone or whatever, they should have kept their mouths shut. No one needed their voices in this. They chose to put out a cowardly statement devoid of any real substance. They deserved to be called out. They couldn't put out a statement about the strikes, something they have an actual stake in, but they feel the need to show their asses in this? No, sorry. I am not that much of a stan. Honestly, I don't think Harry is that smart or educated. I think we can all agree on that. They do not teach that shit in the UK, and Harry has probably read like 4 books in his life. With that said, Harry has enough briefs and cliff notes about colonialism to understand it was bad from his own words, so he isn't entirely off the hook. He has shown enough understanding to acknowledge issues in the past. I think they're both just uneducated out of this issue, but we're worried about being left out of the coverage by not commenting and did the most lackluster statement possible. And I couldn't agree more. These two put out a statement just to put out a statement to stay in front of everybody's faces. And I think that's the most disgusting thing that Meghan has done aside from Uvalde and 9/11 and walking on the graves of military soldiers. I mean, like, these two have zero moral compass. And I'm glad that some of these sugars are waking up to the fact that all they do here is just for publicity and for themselves. They don't give a damn about anybody. And everything that they do is so inauthentic and disingenuous. So, just recently at this mental health day, Harry is quoted by saying, "Turn pain into purpose." Well, I think it should really be turn pain into profit for this couple. And I think a t shirt should be made out of that. Archwell Public Charity, turning your pain into profit. It's so painfully obvious that everything that Meghan and Harry do is so calculated and staged. Look at these tweets from Barkjack from a couple days ago. It begins, MM is indeed undertaking new media endeavors, tickled about her connection to Hollywood and especially People magazine. Considers People a benchmark to popularity, fancies new ways to explode on the scene. And then it goes into saying, we are seeing plans and collaboration with entities to display her fashion choices in media releases, including a big campaign with Hearst and more fanfare orchestration, aka staging. And finally, it says, word is planned interactions being rehearsed. A funny moment, maybe an ice cream falls off a child's cone and she rushes to rescue, or offering a coat to another. Some humane, reputable action, albeit staged. There will be pressable moments told from a direct source. And I could totally see that. And Megan practicing and rehearsing this, her authentic looks of caring. Like, this woman is so mechanical and fake. It's like, it's become such a comedy show right now to witness this gong show in progress. Perhaps maybe she will do a green screen and put Gaza in the background, hire a couple of war-torn kids who are orphaned, and maybe giving them some books of the bench out. I mean, it is possible with this woman. And I think that, like, these two have become like the laughing stock of the world at this moment. Quite frankly, if they really want to save whatever is left, which I don't think there's anything left of their reputation, just go away for a few years. Be quiet, raise your kids, bring them up in society as good human beings, and let that be your story. But nah, Megan, she can't have that because her jealousy and her bitterness towards the royal family cannot be controlled. And unfortunately, this is a sickness, in my opinion. Now, the last thing I want to show you is something I was reading last night on Crazy Days and Nights. And NT the lawyer had asked, will Meghan and Harry get divorced? And if they do, does Harry go back to England? Some of the answers are really funny, but I think this one took the cake for me. Georgosaurus says, yes, gingivitis and the Dubai border potty wife will divorce and he'll crawl back to England like the miserable cur he is. Errors of Russia says cur. And yes, I concur. To make his point clearer, Georgosaurus writes, actually, it's cur. Dictionary, definitions from Oxford Languages. Noun, an aggressive dog or one that is in poor condition, especially a mongrel. In my opinion, do I think that Harry and Meghan will divorce and Harry will move back to the UK? Yes, I do think that they will divorce, but I don't think that it's going to be anytime soon. After realizing that Harry is almost 40, I think Meghan's going to wait it out until he inherits that money and possibly make a claim for some of it. If that doesn't work out, and let's say Harry decides to get out of this marriage before Meghan makes that move, I think he will do it, and Meghan will then play the battered wife with two kids and drag her feet on that. I also think that if her influencer vlogging comeback fails, which we all know it will, I think divorce is her only option to cash out with a lot of money. That's where I think it stands right now. I do think that she's going to try and make this solo attempt to become this global influencer. My God, how she's fallen. And if that fails, then I think divorce is really all she has left. And if Harry doesn't do it and pull that trigger before she does, then I think he's in a lot of trouble. I don't see him doing it though. I think this one comment left by Roy G. Mann summarizes probably the best outcome that we could hope to see. And it says, I can't think of a better hell on earth for those two than having to stay married and continuing to be the laughing stocks that they are. And I would have to agree because with Harry and Meghan together, they're actually nothing and they pull each other down. If Harry decides to go back to his family, then we know that he's going to be lifted back up, while Meghan most likely will make out with a big lump sum of cash in which she'll never have to worry ever again in her life. Technically, she will be a winner in this situation and go on to prey on someone else, which, you know what? That's harmful to our society. I hate to say it, but Harry, you made your bed, now you need to lie in it. But what do you guys think? Do you think Meghan and Harry will divorce? And do you think Harry will go back to the UK? What would you like to see happen? Leave your comments below and please help the kid out and don't forget to like so this can be shared with more people to create awareness. But as always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe and I will talk to you later. Bye.
It was such a fraud.